Today I'm going to look at keeping yourself warm and dry in conditions like Ireland and Scotland, where even in summer you've long periods of wet weather and nighttime temperatures fall down to around 10 degrees centigrade, which isn't unusual. And actually, if you're camping or wild camping on the coast, it can be a lot colder than that because you get quite a lot of dew condensation on the inside of the tent. So things also get damp pretty easily. So this is the gear I bring. It all fits in one pannier, and I'm going to bring you through it item by item and explain my decisions and what I got. So the first thing we can say, and I've commented on this in a few videos, is that at least in conditions in Ireland and Scotland where it's quite cold at night, even in the summer, a lot of the gear you end up carrying is gear that's mostly about keeping yourself warm and dry at night. And it probably is something worth considering, is that a difference between maybe bike packing and simple cycle touring is that if instead you're staying at B&Bs and hotels, then you're actually saving yourself quite a lot of weight and luggage that you have to carry, but of course spending quite a bit more money. So this is more the kind of bike packing approach. I mean, there's arguments about what's bike packing and what's cycle touring, but I think the idea that bike packing is anything where you're trying to carry basically everything you are going to be living off on a day-to-day basis on your bike, including your accommodation, probably makes sense. Because that's also a very different course structure than cycle touring, where instead you're bringing a credit card and able to pay for things as you go along. But anyway, let's have a look at what that involves. So this is my night gear, including the tent, packed into a single pannier. And I think part of the point to make here is that I bought a lot of expensive stuff that packs down very, very small and is very, very good. And I think for the conditions of Ireland and Scotland, it would be harder to make things much smaller than this. Not impossible. There's some bits I haven't upgraded, but we'll see those as we go through them. So first off was a new expensive purchase this year, which is the THERMOREST NEOAIR. And what that is, it's an inflatable mat. Goes up in about 20 breaths, and basically it's a very good mat. You have a lot of insulation in terms of heat protection, and also it stays inflated overnight. Previous cheaper ones I've tried just haven't stayed inflated, particularly once you've used them say 10 or 15 times. Packs up small into that small bag, doesn't weigh very much. I think it's about 600 grams from memory, but don't swear on that. The second thing, again expensive, my MSR HUBBA tent. These are almost 600 euros to buy new. Single person tent. I'll stick a photo of it up here so you can have a look at it. It's a little over 1 kilo, 1.2, 1.3 kilos, something like that. Very, very weatherproof. I've been in all sorts of stormy conditions with that, without significant leakage, except where the ground sheet is touching the ground. That can get a little bit damp. So actually that's another reason for the inflatable mat, because that keeps you off the damp. Then we have what you would expect, sleeping bag. This is actually a very light 2-season sleeping bag. I originally bought it 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's old. This is the bit that I said I probably could upgrade to something better, but it's doing the job at the moment. Probably could get something a bit smaller. Only 2 seasons, so that works for me because I layer it with other things, and I think that's the key thing about staying warm and dry. You, rather than thinking about it as just getting a really big, heavy sleeping bag, think about it as different layers. It's also useful if you do hit a freaky period of warm nights. You don't want to then be stuck with a winter sleeping bag. And here we have the next item, which is one of the magic tricks. And what this is It's a silk sleeping bag liner, very light material as you can see here, that I put inside this sleeping bag. Now that does two things. One is it provides a bit of extra heat. It actually adds quite a bit in difference to it. But actually the other thing it does is if you're bikepacking for a long period of time in particular, you're probably not going to be able to clean your sleeping bag, for instance, because it takes time to dry out, and it could get stinky over time. So if instead the initial thing you're sleeping in is this liner, then that's the thing that gets a bit grubby, and it's very thin material, which means it dries fast, so you can then wash it at times where you think that needs to be washed. And then the last of my standard items is in fact a dry bag with various things in it. And so this is new this year, and this was a game changer, really was. So what it is it's merino wool thermal underwear, right? And a merino wool snood, two snoods actually, I'll explain that in a moment. So long johns basically, long sleeved underwear like that. 4 items, so, and then a second snood, and that second snood goes on my head, so I'll explain that in a second. So I've got one snood on my head, and so here we have with the top on, as you can see, long sleeves, quite thin material, so it's actually quite light. That's one of the benefits of it, but really adds a lot of warmth. And in fact, this is so good that this summer, Ireland and Scotland, probably 40 to 50 nights camping altogether. This has done me. I haven't needed anything else. What I did have last summer, and might be useful if I hit freakishly cold weather, is these. So what this is, I got them from Germany, and what they are is they're hand warmers that basically work off, I think it's iron oxide. And basically when you open the packet up and expose them to air, they heat up to about 55 degrees centigrade, and they stay warm for up to 7 hours. So last year, before I got the merino wool stuff, I had quite a few nights where I felt quite cold, and what I did on those nights is I opened up one of these, so a single hand warmer basically, and then I stuck it inside my sleeping bag, and that added enough generation of additional heat to get me asleep and get through most of the night. So that's my basic setup. The one other thing I would say is, so I mentioned layers, and one of the advantages of layers I've mentioned already is that you can then clean the inner layers if things are getting grubby or smelly over a long period of time. But the other advantage, and I mentioned the fact that sometimes the floor of the tent can maybe, could become damp, basically, not really leak, but the water seeps up through it. Possibly I could re-waterproof that actually. But the other thing, if you're in long periods of rain, then inevitably everything becomes a bit damp. Also, there's always the danger that you're careless. I haven't done it while bikepacking, but I did go to a music festival once and put my tent up and forgot to close the zip on the front of it, and then realised at 2 o'clock in the morning I'd done that, and when I went back it had filled up to a depth of about 5 centimetres. You know, that curved bit, the bottom of a tent that keeps water out, also keeps water in if you leave the door open, and so everything was soaking, as you can imagine. So in that situation, it's really useful to have several very light things rather than one heavier thing, because you can dry very light things off quite quickly. And in fact, while bikepacking around Scotland, this merino wool stuff, I gave it a basic wash maybe once every 10 days or so, in a sink if I stayed in a B&B or whatever, or in a pod on Callanish, and then just hung it up, and it would be dry enough after about 5 hours that you could just put it on, suffer a little bit of dampness, and then that would finish off drying it out. But anyway, so this setup has worked for me for at least 2 years, a bit longer actually in terms of other camping occasions, for Ireland and Scotland, which is kind of conditions where it's frequently not that warm during the day and not that warm during the night. It's not like it's Alaska in winter or something. You're not getting down to -10 or -20. But it's been enough to keep me warm, keep me dry, and give me a good night's sleep. So the faster thinking among you there may have gone, wait a minute, you said something about 2 snoods when you were talking about the contents of this dry bag. And you're right. So what's the second one for? And the second one is a pillow. It doesn't look like much of a pillow, but that's because what I do is I carry a toweling robe, which I use for swimming, but actually it also doubles very well for inserting into the snood. And actually they have a pretty decent pillow, so that also helps keep you warm, but also keep you comfortable at night and make sure you get a good night's sleep. So those are all the different components. Now obviously this is a setup for Ireland and Scotland. I have heard of people being a lot more minimalist, although to be honest I have doubt about how it worked out for them. When I did the Copper Coast, which I did by a cycle touring, I bought a credit card instead of all this stuff and stayed in B&Bs, but there was a Italian tourist I was talking to, had met 2 other Italians on the ferry on the way over, and they had not brought any tent whatsoever and had only brought a hammock, and were setting out to do the Wild Atlantic Way, which is not something I'd recommend, both because while that might work fine in Italy or southern France where the evenings are warm, in Ireland you're going to get rained on a lot. That rain sometimes on the Atlantic doesn't come vertically down on you, so people sometimes sleep in hammocks with a tarp over them. It comes in horizontally and can probably get pretty much under it, and also comes down so hard it will spray up at you off the ground. And of course the other thing, as anybody from Ireland will be aware, the west coast, the high winds and historic deforestation and overgrazing means that there's long areas where there's not many trees. So you can't necessarily, particularly if you're wild camping, and cycling, be sure you're going to find a spot that you can string a hammock up between 2 trees, certainly. Sometimes maybe you could find a metal pole or something. But yeah, I'm kind of impressed with the hammock thing. I would definitely consider it if I was going somewhere where I knew the nights were going to be warm. But I think in the Irish context, it's a little bit too heroic. And so I'm stuck with my pannier full of keeping myself warm and dry at night as I make my way around.